I mean, Chicago's a team we hadn't seen in a while, and they play a real up-tempo, in-your-face, high-pressure game that I took responsibility for. I didn't have the guys prepared well enough for it, so I think seeing that Saturday, and these guys are all pros. They weren't happy with the effort on Saturday, so it was. I think they relished the opportunity to get right back at it less than 24 hours later, and redeem themselves.
Speaking of pros, Joey had a heck of a game, and how excited are you to have him in the mix now, and what's kind of his attitude, would you say, coming back here once again?
He's been great. I mean, he's excited to be here and excited to be playing. We've been in situations before, we've been on teams in and out of the lineup, playing sparingly, so I think he's just relishing the opportunity to play. He's going to obviously play a big role, play a lot of minutes, and I said it before, he's a pro, so he's another guy for our younger guys to look up to, see his day-to-day habits and what it takes to be a successful pro, and couldn't be happier to have him around.
It looks like you find the right match right off the bat with him and Gutman there.
Yeah, they've gelled well together. They both have a good head for the game, so they kind of have a sense of where each other is going to be on the ice, and moving Cini up there with them on Sunday, I think is just another example of a smart player. So that the three of them seem to read off of each other very well.
And perhaps Athanasiou will be back in the mix. I mean, he was moving around fairly well out there today. Can you give us kind of an update on how close he might be to playing again?
Yeah, I mean, cliche, but he's closer every day, obviously. But it's kind of a day-by-day thing right now with coming off an injury like that. I think he had tested more and more every day. It was cleared for contact last week, and he's getting more and more of that. So it's all about how it responds and when he's comfortable to test it at the highest level.
You subtract one defenseman, you add another one, and Matteo. Just describe his game a little bit and what you feel like his strengths might be.
Yeah, I think he brings some stability to the back end. Wasn't really getting an opportunity, it seemed, in Toronto. So, I think he gives us good depth down here, and he's a guy that we have a lot of puck movers on our back end. He's a guy that I think gives us some stability. He's a defense-first kind of a player. Has a physical element to his game, which is always welcomed. So, looking forward to see what he brings.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier, just going into that Chicago game Saturday. You hadn't seen them in a while. You haven't seen Texas in a while, too. Is there anything that you'll approach differently about playing an opponent that you haven't seen in 6-7 weeks? I know you as a head coach haven't actually seen as well.
No, I mean, just like I asked the players, for myself too, try to learn from every game, every experience, and I'll try to change some things that we did Saturday just to make sure the guys are ready from the start, and that we're not dipping our toe in the water on Wednesday to feel out a new opponent. We have seen them, and really it's just about having that mentality that we had going into Sunday about just being mad, being ticked off. Like, let's not wait until we're punched in the mouth or behind the 8 ball before we start to respond. Let's get that response going from the drop of the puck, and it's less about X's and O's and more about just a mindset and that raising that compete level.
It's not often we get to talk to a guy who's coming off a 4-goal game. I mean, I imagine that's the first for you in your career. I mean, what was that like?
Yeah, it was great. Just one of those nights where pucks were finding me and I was in the right spots and didn't have too much work. A lot of the guys were doing the work before me.
You were right there on the back door most of the time. Is that your hot spot? We're going to see more of that?
Hopefully, yeah. Usually just around the net, find a space, trying to create traffic, and obviously playing with like Gutty and Scenes. They're gonna find space and they're gonna be able to find me wherever I'm at. So hopefully, whether it's on that same spot back door or somewhere else, we'll continue to find chances and put pucks in the net.
What were some of the things that you were thinking about going into Sunday's game? We just talked with Coach about how he felt. You hadn't seen Chicago in a little bit, but what were you guys trying to focus on when you started off on Sunday afternoon?
Sunday, it was just about the compete level. We didn't like our compete on Saturday night, and just got to be smart, be diligent, win puck battles, win the walls. We didn't do that enough on Saturday night, and we can talk about all the X's and O's we want, but if we don't have that compete, we're not gonna get the results we want.
There's a lot of talk about different systems and seeing teams, but can it really just come down to wanting it more sometimes, and especially just trying to win those battles in both net fronts and that sort of thing?
A lot of times, yeah. I think especially in this league, there's there's a lot of mistakes made in this league, especially structurally, that if your compete level's high enough, you're winning battles, you're skating, you're going to make up for a lot of those mistakes, and you're going to put pressure on the other team, and you're going to force them into a lot of mistakes that, like I said, you win more battles than you don't, you're going to have a better chance.
Not reflecting on the past, but looking forward, how excited are you to just be playing in a lineup every night here going forward?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It obviously has been it's been a long couple months for me, so extremely happy to be down here and just to get some reps in. Obviously, a great relationship with a lot of guys on the team and the staff here. It's a real nice breath of fresh air and just a good reset. Like I said, just come in, do the same things, have a good attitude, play hard. They're not all going to be 4-goal nights. Some nights you're going to get nothing, and you just keep trying to play the same way, play hard, and have fun with it.
You mentioned the last couple months. How much did that make you appreciate a week like this and actually just getting to play this sport for a job?
It's great. I think obviously the results haven't been great up top, and when you're kind of coming in and out of the lineup, you don't play a ton. It's hard to have that same impact you can have. So, obviously just having fun with it, down here, come in with a great attitude. Vibes have been really, really good in the room. So I'm walking into a good situation here. And, it's been, like I said, it's been really, really nice. And I feel very energetic about what we're doing here.
When the Blackhawks waived you, was that a shock to the system? Did that ever cross your mind that was even a possibility?
I'm disappointed with it, obviously. Like, you want to be up, but writing was on the wall. I hadn't been playing, and at a certain point you got to play, and so you hope it doesn't happen, but at a certain point you're like, it's probably going to be the move that happens, and it's not up to me, and all I can do is show up and play hockey, and like we did this weekend, we have fun with it, just try our best to help win hockey games wherever we're at.
I know you haven't been around here, but how nice is it to see Andreas getting healthy again and back out there, and he's going to jump into the mix here pretty soon with the rest of you guys?
Super fun. I know he's had a good impact in the locker room. He's around every day, and he's in the middle of everything, and he's excited to get out there too, and he brings such a different element to this team with his speed and his skill that it's definitely something we're all excited for, and he's another guy we'll be happy to play with.
Lastly, I'll just ask you about tomorrow coming up. How can you kind of avoid what happened at the start Saturday and playing a team you hadn't seen in a while? I know, haven't seen in a while for you, but just as a group getting used to a Texas team that most of these guys haven't played in a while. What can you change about seeing a squad like that? I
think just you got to dictate right away. Act like we're trying to come back in a hockey game. Like push, we got to dictate offensively, but that's all over the ice. We got to want the puck. We got to put ourselves in situations where we're going to get pucks back, shoot, attack. It's a mindset that it's hard to channel as a group, but each guy has to, come into the rink with whatever they need to do to make sure they're coming with that mindset that I'm going to win my battles and I'm ready to go.
How much of, goes into being a pro where, maybe to the rest of us it's kind of foreign, but 48 hours later you're in a place that you may not have even thought about. How much of that is just a part of having to take things in stride as a professional hockey player?
I look at it as just excitement, for someone else to be intrigued and want you to be a part of the organization. You run with that, and for me, I don't look back, and I'm just going to plant my feet here and be super happy and present to be here.
What's it like meeting 20, 25 new guys that you're about to go to battle with for the next few months?
It's great. I mean, everyone's been very welcoming, and it's clearly a great organization. And for me, I'm just happy to go to battle for them.
Can you tell us Hawks fans a little bit about your game and how you describe what you can do out on the ice?
Yeah, I'm a really steady defenseman. I skate well. I defend well with my skating and stick, and I like to play a physical game when it's there, and just all-around team guy, and just like to get involved that way.
Coach said some very complimentary things about your game and what you can bring to this team. How does that make you feel to know that he has that kind of confidence in you and he sees those skills in your game?
I mean, it's great to hear, and the most important thing is you just keep growing that every day. I think if you dwell and not dwell, but if you focus on what he's been saying in the past, you have to keep building that up with him, keep building trust, and keep growing your game and just not being satisfied.
Would you, for me, I know these guys know how to say it, but would you pronounce your last name for me?
It's Pietroniro, yeah.
I'll ask you just about practice, and even this week as you get find your role in the lineup and working with different D guys. There's been a lot of it this year that different pairings have had to switch up just with movement. How does that impact your mindset of maybe playing with one guy on one night, a different guy on the next night, as you kind of get used to their different sorts of chemistry?
Yeah, it's not something that is new for me. In Toronto, with all the bodies, even the past year before this season, lots of guys, and I think just trying to complement each other and communicating and trying to help each other out is the best thing. So whether it's you're on your off side or on your strong side one night or with someone else, it's just communicating, helping, and trying to read off each other the right way.